104.5 The Team, ESPN Radio, your home for New York Yankees baseball. Now we go out to ESPN Cleveland. Chris Oldach with us. Chris, which Corey Kluber are we going to get tonight?
Guys, that is a great question. I would tend to believe we're going to see the Cy Young candidate, Cy Young winning Corey Kluber. This is what Terry Francona planned for. He said it at the beginning of the series, and Francona is a guy that typically lives within each day, within each game, but he planned for this, and he planned it out for Corey Kluber on normal rest, ready to go Game 5. I expect at home in a winner-take-all, I think we see the Corey Kluber that we've seen all year.
Why was he struggling so much in Game 2?
Guys, that is a great question, and no one really seems to know. There's talk about an injury, but the Indians have dismissed that. Fans think that there was some type of injury, but there's been no reports of it. Some think that by starting Trevor Bauer Game 1 threw him off a little bit. You hope that it's just, from an Indians fan's perspective, you hope that it's just his one bad game. You get it out of the way in Game 2, you have a chance to come back for Game 5. His stuff wasn't there. Location wasn't as pinpoint as we've seen from him throughout the entire season. So you got to hope it's just the case of just one bad game.
Chris, what's the vibe there? If Kluber is the Cy Young candidate that you expect him to be, is there any way the Yankees beat him?
I don't think so. If Kluber's on his game, I think the Indians win this one. And I don't want to say comfortably, but I think if they can get some run support, the Indians are a team that play very well when they have a lead. If the Tribe offense, which has been struggling here these last couple of games, if they can get a few runs early, give Kluber a little bit of a cushion, maybe a 1-2 run lead, and Kluber can settle in early, I think I would love to see Kluber go 5, 6, 7 innings even, and then you have Andrew Miller rested, ready to go in the bullpen. In terms of the vibe, Cleveland fans are actually pretty confident. Guys, as you know, baseball is such a day-to-day game. After Game 2, the city was electric. It was on fire, a historic comeback victory in extra innings. The day off, I thought, really helped the Yankees collect themselves, regroup. Credit Yankee fans for showing up at the ballpark Games 3 and 4. Now you wonder if the day off is going to help the Indians just like it did the Yankees when they traveled. So the fans are feeling good. The city still has a great buzz around it. There is still a portion of Cleveland fans, the old Cleveland mentality of, oh, here we go again. The 3-1 lead in the World Series still fresh on some minds for some fans. And keep in mind, guys, the Indians have lost 16 out of 19 closeout games in the postseason since 1999. I know that's a stat that the players won't care about, but there are some fans here that are worried about that. But all in all, the city's ready to go for Game 5. I expect just a raucous crowd at Progressive Field tonight.
Chris Oldach of ESPN Cleveland joining us right now on 104.5 The Team, ESPN Radio.
I don't know if it's the juicy storyline or Yankee fans getting excited, but we think about CC Sabathia going back to Cleveland for Game 5. Is it the pitcher that the Indians least wanted to face in a closeout situation?
I don't know about least wanted to face, but I tell you what, fountain of youth. Am I right, guys?
Yeah.
CC Sabathia, and he's pitched well against some guys that have been struggling offensively for the Indians. Michael Brantley, career-wise, has not played well and matched up well against CC Sabathia. Francisco Lindor, Jose Ramirez, guys, they didn't hit CC in Game 1. I tell you what, in Game 2. He looked great in Game 2. But the offense for the Tribe, they've got to get going. Obviously, Edwin being out, well, there's a chance he could actually be in the lineup tonight. We'll find out later, I guess, what Francona decides to do. But even with him out, the lineup for the Indians goes around Jose Ramirez and Francisco Lindor, 118 and 071 respectively in the postseason. That's not going to get it done against CC Sabathia. It's not going to get it done against anybody pitching for the Yankees.
You touched on Edwin Encarnacion. What's your thoughts? Do you think he plays?
I do. I think he'll be in the lineup. He was out jogging around. He's been doing some BP, some simulated game at-bats over the last day or so. I expect him to be in the lineup as a designated hitter. What you do then with Michael Brantley, you probably would bring him off the bench. But I think it's win or go home, guys. I mean, if Edwin's even remotely healthy, and if he can go, I think you got to throw him out there in the lineup.
Chris, we have been tortured by bad weather this postseason. What's it look like tonight in Cleveland?
Well, no midges, luckily for you guys. You got to catch a break there. But it rained all morning, all night, but right now there's no rain. They expect maybe a late afternoon shower, but we should get the game in. There shouldn't be any delays. It's going to be a little chilly, low 60s to start. We might even drop into the high 50s by the time this game is over. But in terms of the rain, I expect we get this one in.
Just a hunch. It sounds like you're pretty confident Cleveland wins this one.
Again, I go back to Kluber. If
Right.
Kluber plays well, I am confident. And look, if you asked any Indians fan to drop a scenario in a winner-take-all, the Indians are at home. You check that one off. You have your ace on the mound. Check that one off. You have Andrew Miller rested and ready to go in the bullpen. You check it off. Everything is lined up for the Indians. I will say this, though. If the Indians don't win this game with all of those things in their favor, the home field advantage and your ace on the mound, you got to tip your hat to the Yankees and say, you know what, this Tribe team wasn't what we thought. The 22-game winning streak during the season, all for naught because they didn't get out of the first round. But I am pretty confident.
But the people of Cleveland aren't as crazy as the people of Boston and New York. They're not going to be calling for Francona's head, right?
No,
Okay,
they won't be calling for Francona's head. Earlier in the series to start Trevor Bauer Game 1 and hold Kluber out for Game 2, I think a lot of fans questioned it, but we have the saying, in Tito we trust. So fans might not always agree with what he's doing, but they say, you know what, he's been doing this so long, he's a World Series champion, we trust in him, we go as he goes, but no one will be calling for his head. It will be obviously disappointing if they can't get this done tonight, but no one will be calling for his head.
Awesome. Chris Oldach of ESPN Cleveland, nice enough to make some time for us. I got to say, everything you say makes sense. I'm just hoping you're really wrong.
Guys, I hope you're really wrong. I mean, look, we both understand what's on the line here. We're both very passionate about our respective teams, and I think it's a healthy sports dislike, a healthy sports hate amongst each other fans. I mean, for us, you guys are the evil empire. We're trying to take you guys down. There's something special about beating the Yankees in the postseason. And think of it this way. I mean, I'm sure Yankee fans all week have been saying, man, if we didn't blow Game 2, this series is already over. We're saying here if Aaron Judge was 5 inches shorter, we would have won Game 3 and we would have swept you guys. So there's that argument both ways, back and forth. But I think either way, we're in for a really fun treat tonight.
Chris, we appreciate your time, and looking forward to the game.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.